They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but this image taken by Louisville photographer Tim Druck has touched millions of people. Tim joins us this morning. Tim, paint that picture. Where were you? What was occurring when you took what has become an iconic photo that literally has gone viral and millions of people have seen it?
I'm a little blown away by that, Angie. I was I really just arrived at the demonstration. It was getting dark, and things were really starting to happen as the light falls, and the protesters had moved into the intersection at Sixth and Jefferson, which we know as a pretty special place in our city. It's where we go, to air our grievances, I suppose. And I'd received word that there was I received word through a text message network that there was going to be a demonstration, and I headed down with my family to participate and to see if I could get a good photo. And as I was arriving, um, Chanel Helm from Black Lives Matter was organizing people into the places that they needed to be. And she had a megaphone in the middle of the intersection, and it really just kind of happened. It was uh, not anything that I ever, or anybody ever could have staged. Chanel was calling for white protesters, and it was very intentional, and it seemed like it was, like it had intended to happen that way, to put themselves between black protesters and the police, um, not just as a symbolic measure, but as a very real measure of using their privilege to provide physical safety. And as this happened, I noticed that these women, and it was almost entirely women, were lining up on what's and you can see it in the photo, the stop line at Jefferson Street, and it made a perfect photo. So I was standing on the sidewalk right there in Jefferson Square, and the photo presented itself, and it wasn't anything that was difficult. I mean, I spent 30 seconds setting up that shot. It just happened that way, and the photo, to me, looks very honest because that's really the way it happened.
What was the reaction of, I mean, anyone that was in the vicinity as this was happening? Did people realize, I mean, just what a statement this was making?
I don't think anyone real. I certainly didn't. I never expected, of all the photos I took that night, this wasn't the one I expected to blow up. It wasn't until I looked at it later that I realized. And a friend of mine, a guy from Lexington, texted me and he said, "Tim, that photo is really powerful." And I said, "That one?" And he said, "Yeah." He says, "That speaks to people." But I don't think anybody realized the impact of that moment and what it really meant. But looking back at it now, maybe we should have. Things were happening so fast that I think people were acting with good intention and not really trying to make a statement. And the statement was maybe even more powerful because nobody was trying to make a statement. It really was honest and really was organic in the way it happened.
At what point did this start going viral?
Um, I was still at the event. I was still at the demonstration, and I started getting texts that the photo had been picked up by the National Organization for Women in Kentucky and posted, and my friends were tagging me on their timeline to make sure that I got credit for the photo. And to their credit, NOW immediately credited me in the photo, as did almost everybody that picked it up. And it just really it exploded from there. There were tens of thousands of likes from that mention, and then other groups started picking it up. Other news organizations started using it, and all I asked was that they credit me properly, and they mostly all did. And it just it explodes so quickly that you don't even know it's happening until it's all over the world.
Now, Tim, I saw the photograph and we turned on a dime like so many news organizations, and Great Day Live is a lifestyle show. And we knew we've got to dedicate Monday's show after such a tumultuous, difficult, heartbreaking weekend to hearing voices from around our community and differing perspectives. And your photo was mentioned by a mom of two who attended the protests and how powerful that was to her. And so I sought you out and asked for your permission. And so on Monday, we were able to share your photo. Thank you to you for allowing us. But you asked me for two things. You said, please give me credit, which absolutely. And you said, and please say Breonna Taylor's name. And I affirmed to you and promised you, you will absolutely hear Breonna Taylor's name multiple times throughout the hour of Great Day Live. But why was it important to you that we said Breonna Taylor's name and that you've asked of every outlet that wants to utilize that photo to do the same?
So this can't be about me. Um, I took a photo, and I'll take credit for that. That's fine with me. But the reason is kind of twofold. Um, the moment wasn't about me. As a photographer, it's my job to show the people who see my photos what I saw through my lens. But it's not for me to make a statement. It's for me to broadcast that statement. And I say often, my camera tells the truth. The reason I go to these demonstrations and the reason I put myself in these crowds is because somebody has to tell the truth of what really happened there. And photographers and photographs, they tell the truth in a way that people can see with their own eyes what really happened. And then secondly, like I said, it's not about me. We were there to celebrate the life and to honor Breonna Taylor. Um, and because my role as a white ally, it's my job to support this fight. It's not my job to lead this fight. It's not my job to speak for Breonna or her family or the Black Lives Matter movement. It's my job to support them. So it was important to me that anybody who used the photo say her name, to keep it about her and to keep it about the subject of police brutality, particularly against Black men and women, and to focus the discussion where it deserves to be, which is on those people and the struggle that I support so much.
Well, Tim, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you are out there in the midst in the thick of things, so be safe.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me on the show, Angie. I really appreciate it.
You can follow Tim on Twitter. His handle is SouthEndTimD, or visit IndigoPhotoKY.com.